Flightless Bird, touchdown in America.
Okay, we're going to try something new today.
Yeah, we are.
We're calling it American Gods
Yes.
because we thought about American heroes, but American heroes sounds too earnest.
Yeah, and that
American
is
Gods.
not us.
It's not us. We are not earnest. We're going to release these episodes from time to time. We don't have an exact schedule, but every couple of months, one of them is going to pop up. And I can't wait to learn more about these American gods. You know, we're talking, I don't know if celebrity is the right word.
Sometimes they will be. They could be political figures.
Leaders.
Exactly.
They are Americans who have been elevated within the world of society and pop culture to the level of God.
Yes. And we just want to deep dive into them and also what's made them become godly to us.
Because, I mean, we're all trying to do good in life.
Yeah.
But some people do ascend to the status where everyone knows their name. The reasons they ascend can be good, they can be bad. And what we want to try and do, the show's going to be in two halves. So the first half, we're just going to bring our thoughts to the table. I'll argue I'll probably know less because I'm not American. I'm here to be educated. And then that first half, we're going to come up with a lot of questions. This is going to be things we don't know. And we're going to go away with a little assignment, a little bit of homework.
Mm-hmm.
And part two will be us coming in with some fact bombs for you all.
We decided we would start with a goddess.
A goddess, yes.
That I personally elevate. I do elevate to, I don't.
Oh, you do.
I don't elevate anyone to a god. I actually think that's
No, and to be clear,
very dangerous.
Yeah, the name is slightly tongue-in-cheek. We don't think these people are literal gods.
We don't, but people do. People do.
Who are we going to talk about?
Miss Tay.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I mean, we've been talking about Taylor on and off for like a year at this point. And also, you've been teasing that we might do a Flightless Bird on her.
Yes,
so
that's kind of where this came from because I had an idea of doing a Taylor Swift episode. So I bought tickets to her documentary. I went to the Grove at about 7 p.m. I'd watch the early TikToks and Instagram videos of just the audiences going crazy. And I thought this would be that. Let's just say this night wasn't. This was the most reserved crowd I've ever been in. I approached a few fans to talk about it with my little microphone. They were all really shy to talk about it. And so the whole Taylor Swift standalone episode just didn't get off to a good start.
Okay.
And so we're elevating her to God status and we're going to just bring our thoughts to the table about this woman. Because I think we have slightly differing thoughts about Taylor. Look, should we just start with you? I want to know about your relationship with this woman, what you think of her, and yeah, but mainly where it started for you.
I remember hearing Tim McGraw, her first hit that hit the radio. And I remember
on the actual radio?
I heard it on the radio.
I love this.
Yes, in Georgia. So it might have been on a country station.
Yeah. How old would you have been?
In my head, I was in college, but that can't be. This is like one of those where the memory...
totally. No, everything starts to blur.
Because let me look up when that song came out.
Because that's the thing. We forget that she's been around for a while.
For so long.
With a lot of output.
And she genre hopped, right? She was originally country.
She was country.
And then became
country
kind
girl.
of country pop and then pop.
And then further into the career with Folklore and Evermore, more of a, what's it called?
This keeps changing.
Folky.
Folky.
She brought Justin Vernon in from Bon Iver for some of that.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's hopped. She's really bounced her way. And that's incredible, right? That's so hard to do, to jump genres.
Yeah, I feel every musician, every artist I like to, they stick to a genre. They never move. And to be able to move around genre, it's a crazy ability to have.
Okay, so Tim McGraw came out in 2006. So that, I'm right.
Is that an album or a song?
It's a song.
Okay.
And a singer.
Really? A song about a singer, yes. Wait, do you not know that?
No, I don't know who this, I don't know
Tim
what this
McGraw?
name is. No, who's Tim McGraw?
He's a huge country star.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, so the song's not with him, it's about him?
Yeah, it's about him.
Oh, I thought they had like a duet. Is how you heard of him.
No.
Okay.
The song is called Tim McGraw, and it's like
an ode to this man. Are you a fan of Tim McGraw?
I was.
Okay.
I mean, this is also fascinating because I grew up in the South, so I knew Tim McGraw. The idea that you guys don't know who that is, or you do,
I know who he is.
Yeah,
I'm not a.
is actually shocking to me.
You know, so
Yeah.
country as a genre is something from New Zealand. Look, there are country musicians in New Zealand, certainly,
Yeah.
but they're not, you don't make a living out of being a country musician generally in New Zealand.
You need
And
to
it's
do a
a genre-
Flightless Bird on country
I need
music.
to do I do, don't I?
Yes.
So I need to go to, what's the
South.
ground zero for like country town?
Tennessee
Yeah, Nashville.
has
Nashville.
a ton of and she did. She went to Nashville
Yeah, no,
as
this
a
is
young kid.
so obvious. It's something I haven't thought about doing as a topic and literally until now.
It'll be so fun.
Yeah,
like if
cool.
you go to a honky tonk bar in Nashville, they're
Yeah,
so
great.
fun. Country music's great. I have such an affinity for it. And that's where she started. And so I heard Tim McGraw and I liked it, but I wasn't enamored by her or
Yeah,
anything.
but
She
you're like,
was
there's
this
a catchy song.
catchy song, young girl, new artist, cool. And that's sort of how I felt about her always. I've always liked her and always think her music is very catchy. But the level, it skyrocketed last year.
It did, right?
It did.
It's hit some kind of cultural moment where it's like when we talk about AI hitting this moment where suddenly it's just going to become so smart overnight. It feels like
Yes.
that happened to Taylor. She was already big.
She was already huge, but this is God status. And
Yep.
I think something happened. I mean, I want to give credit to her because she's an impeccable businesswoman and I deeply respect her. I want to pick her brain so badly. But I think what really happened is women in her age, me, I'm a couple years older than her, we hit this new level of understanding ourselves. It's a time of female empowerment and women understanding their place in the world and trying to
So she's sort of aligned with this moment, this bigger
She's
shift.
become a mascot for a strong woman. And it's this millennial female, I think, that has, look, to be honest, like, is smart, works. I don't know the stats, but my guess is the percentage of millennial women who work is extremely high. We have money. A lot of us are not in relationships or like, marriage rate is falling and
And
stuff.
that's interesting because that's so much of her stuff is relatable, right? Because it is generally about her lived experience with relationships. Like that's a big part of her thing,
A
right?
lot of it is about her relationships, but her experience in the relationship. It's not like a general love song.
Right.
It's about her. And therefore, it's about me. It's about a woman of that age. I also have heard this thing, and I don't know if it's true, but I believe it, that my generation, give or take 5 years, like within this, I guess millennial, but not full millennial. Like my brother's a millennial. He doesn't count as this. So it's in your 30s, mid 30s. That gen is the most nostalgic generation because we have the advent of the phone sliced through our adolescence.
Yeah.
So we really, really remember what it was like to be adolescent without it and then with it.
I see.
And
yeah, it's like this dramatic shift.
exactly.
That we look back to that time almost.
Yeah, we have a nostalgia for a time before, whereas Gen X has that too, but it's different because technology hit once they were past.
Yeah, we remember the before times.
Exactly.
When, the internet wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I remember, because I'm 41, I remember being 16 and 17 and, like we was getting phones and shit. I remember when we got the internet,
Yeah.
when we had dial-up modems. That was the before times.
Exactly. But we had enough time for it to impact our social lives
Yeah, right.
and
yeah.
impact the way we communicated with people, but enough time before it too. So anyway, so I've read that before, I've heard that before. It really rings true. And I think the Eras Tour made this nostalgic generation reflect on
You're right, and go, holy shit.
yes, on all of our own eras.
Coming of age for
I
a lot of
guess,
people.
I guess.
Yeah. I know I hadn't thought about the construction of that tour as actually being that important. Obviously, I was thinking, she's looking back through her career. But when you look at it with that frame, you're like, what a masterful thing to do because you've got an entire audience going on this incredibly emotional ride, thinking about their own lives as well as like, oh my God, there's that song I like.
Exactly.
Wait, just quickly, Rob, what's your relationship? And we need to be honest here, because
With Taylor?
yeah, I feel I'm probably going to be the most skeptical about Taylor.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rob, where do you sit?
I don't listen to her music, but I respect her as a musician. Like even this last tour, she brought out a lot of really cool female artists. She had Phoebe Bridgers out,
Oh, you love Phoebe.
Gracie.
Paramore, Gracie Abrams, the Haim sisters, doing stuff with Bon Iver, which I like Bon Iver. So musically, I respect her. I was never into country, and I'm
that's
not
the
into
genre that
country
I don't-
pop. So for me, it was never something I listened to. But
Have you seen a Taylor Swift show? Have you been?
No.
Right. I've been to one. I went to one in New Zealand. Red. Was that an album?
Oh, yeah. Red.
I think just after Red, she came, whatever that was,
Uh-huh.
she came. So a lot of the show felt country, but then
Oh,
it was
interesting.
like also during her, oh no, here's a pop star that is like a big deal. And it was a packed out stadium in New Zealand. Taylor Swift felt big then.
Right.
And I went in cynical. I went with a friend who loved Taylor Swift and I left going, oh no, like she's talented as hell. This is great. But just since then, and especially, you know, you mentioned this last year of her reaching this whole new level, it's just been an interesting time to be an American to see that happen. Because I went to the Super Bowl at Rob's house. He had a few people over, so I'm trying to become more American, you know,
Yeah.
eating snacks and watching these big men play.
Dips.
And obviously this whole Travis
Kelsey.
Kelsey?
Yeah.
Kels.
Kelsey.
Kelsey, that I find it hilarious. I find it fascinating. It's like prom to me. It's like my idea of what prom is. And part of me is like, this is great, but there's also this really cynical part of me that looks at it and goes, this could not be more American. You've got like the high school football star dating the prom queen.
Yeah.
And that's on one level, I don't know why, it probably says more about me. Part of it, I'm like, people in love is great, but then I look at it, it's too much.
You think it's
Like,
too on the nose?
Kind of. I'm like, I feel like it's too American. So I want to know about how you feel about this, because I also come from reading a few headlines and watching them kissing on a big screen
Yeah.
at the football.
Well, what you don't know, but which is actually very interesting as an observer, she does not identify as the prom queen at all. And
Right.
that her early eras,
Yeah. Yeah.
just, you know, her like Speak Now era and some of her huge early songs are about that. I mean, there's a whole song saying
Oh,
she's
right.
cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers.
All right. Yeah.
Like she is the girl on the bleachers. She's not
She's the
prom
outsider.
queen.
Yeah. She's not that person.
Yes, and it's hilarious because of course she's the prom queen right now of the world. But for her, she is not. She is the girl who couldn't get the football star.
Right.
And so for her, this is such a full circle that she has achieved that. She has this American dream.
Yeah. It's not what she set out to do. So it's kind of surreal that she's the one that is in this position.
Well, it's like I wasn't ever able to have this and now I can. And so I think a lot of people who have been following her for a long time, they connect with that. It's like, oh my God, she's with the football star. Like she wanted that or manifested that or whatever.
So it's like an aspirational thing almost.
I think so. Now,
Yeah.
look, I have my own opinions on Travis.
Because he's also exploded recently, right? Like I read this amazing article about him, and maybe I should bring this in for part 2. I need to reread it, but it was basically the making of him and how he has this, as everyone who like makes it in this town has a team, and how they
Sure.
very carefully constructed his entire life. But the wild card is they never expected the Taylor Swift thing to happen. So like this
Yeah.
is like a cherry on the top. But they've been directing him in a way where he would be very mindfully bigger, not just a football player, but like
Right.
a celebrity.
A brand,
A brand.
which everyone's doing.
It's America.
It's
Yeah, the
America.
brand.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think it actually is more than just America at this point, but definitely very American too. We're all brands now. I mean, it's bizarre.
Totally. That's what social media has given us, right?
Exactly.
Just so quickly, Travis, and again, I know nothing here. Like, is he like a good, wholesome guy? Is he a jock? Do we know? He's like a man's man.
He's a
sort of.
man's man. He's a classic football player.
A good football player.
He's a good player.
He was good
Right.
before Taylor.
The only thing I don't like about that narrative, or the narrative that I spelled out, which is, oh my gosh, she was a girl on the bleachers and now she got the football star, which I believe in my heart she thinks, right? Like
Right.
she feels excited that,
That this is happening.
yeah, she got the most popular guy in high school.
Yeah.
But what I find upsetting is no. He got the most popular person in the whole world. Like, he is the one winning here.
Yeah.
And I want that to be the narrative, and because that's the truth.
Yeah, well, you're right,
Yeah.
because the number of new fans that team
Can you
or that
believe-
football has come in through her, right?
Yes.
Like, it's the biggest peak in people's interest in football in forever.
She is the get, not him.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I
Which
wish,
you don't often see.
Exactly.
Well, and it's sad that that's the narrative for her.
And look, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
my
your opinion
belief
on it.
is. As someone who I can sort of relate to that, I can relate to that feeling of like, well, I'm never going to be on homecoming quarter. I'm never going to, like, that's not me. That's not my position in this world. And then to find yourself in it,
You're like, holy Mac.
yeah, you're going to like try to have all those things you couldn't have.
Yeah,
I don't know really what's going on in her mind, but I want her to know that she's the get.
totally.
That's all.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's sort of clear to the rest of the world.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I agree with you completely. It is funny. We do think these people know what we know, but everyone's sort of an insecure mess
They
down deep, and it
are.
doesn't matter. And I think that can almost get worse if you get more fame because
What's
you're so
real?
more you're aware of that. So yeah, of
Yeah.
course you'll have all this shit going on.
Yeah.
I
Let's
know,
talk about our
I'm-
favorite songs.
Okay. The record I like is
Yeah.
1989.
Beautiful record.
I don't like Shake It Off. I think that song's annoying.
Okay.
Everything else on that record, I like. It's the only record of hers I've listened to all the way through and that I really enjoy. That's it. I don't know any of the other things.
You
It's
haven't
all a
listened
bit-
to any of the new, like the ones during the pandemic?
I listened to nothing. Okay, so look, for part 2, what should I listen? Like, what should I go away?
I don't think I've listened. Like, I've heard, obviously, songs.
Okay.
give
around,
me
but I've
and
never
give Rob
listened.
and I a different album each that we can go and
Oh, and then deep dive in.
that we can just listen and think about a bit and come back with.
I would like to give you guys a list right now of songs to make a
Okay.
playlist.
Songs would be great.
Okay, so I have one. To be fair, I already
have a
have
list
one.
already.
What's it called?
It's the
Does it
same
have a
list, or we
good-
each get our own list?
I think you should do the same list so that we can.
Yeah, that's good.
I made a list of songs for someone I was dating for a minute.
This is really nice. Okay, what brought this? And apologies if you talked about this before, but like, what brought on that? Were you like they didn't know Taylor, and you were like, listen to this motherfucker?
Basically, this person and I had different musical interests, and we were talking
What genre
about
did
that.
they like? What were they into?
They were going to a concert.
Okay.
We had a date before they were going to this concert, and I didn't know who that
Okay, who that
person
band was. Okay.
Yeah, and so they were informing me on that
Mm.
person, and then they said, "What do you like? What do you
Okay,
listen
and
to?"
you're like,
And I was
"Take
like,
this.
"Well, pretty
Here's
much
100 Taylor Swift songs.
pretty much Taylor at this point exclusively." He said, kind of what Rob is saying. I respect her, like I like her in theory, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
And I think he said, "I'll send you these songs.
Cool.
You send me."
This is really nice. I like this.
So it didn't work out with him, but but
But the playlist remains.
the playlist remains. And then I made one for Callie because she also was like, I need to get more in.
Give us like maybe 5.
Oh, 5. No, I'm
Oh.
giving you a lot more than that.
I think us each taking an album is maybe good too.
Okay, well,
between the
can we
three
do
of us.
both?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
It's like when you did your list of,
You know, good. You can't just do 5.
I'm
I
going to
know.
read, because maybe our listeners will want to also make this playlist. This is my playlist, okay? This was the one I made for Callie. Dress, Bad Blood featuring Kendrick Lamar.
I love Kendrick.
Don't Blame Me, I Know Places, Taylor's version. All Too Well, 10-minute version, Taylor's version.
10 minutes.
Yeah. New Romantics, Taylor's version. My Tears Ricochet, which is my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time.
Of all time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Clean, which is in my top 5. The One, Better Man, Taylor's version. Speak Now, Taylor's version. Dear John, Taylor's version. Mad Woman, also in my top 5.
Mhm.
Treacherous, Taylor's version. Nothing New, featuring Phoebe Bridgers.
Okay.
Anti-Hero, Exile, featuring Bon Iver. Invisible String, The Last Great American Dynasty.
Ooh.
Cardigan,
Okay.
Cruel
Okay, we
Summer,
gotta
cap at
Lover.
like 10, I
No, these are the best songs. Look, she has so many.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She's prolific.
I'm gonna read these, but I'm gonna
is
send this
good.
to you.
Okay. I
So
was
you guys
trying
don't have to
type all
write
of
it
these.
down.
I got most of them.
I'm gonna send them to you. Okay, Anti-Hero, Exile, Invisible String, The Last Great American Dynasty, Cardigan, Cruel Summer, Lover, Delicate, Willow, 'Tis the Damn Season, Enchanted, Taylor's version, Fearless, Taylor's version, Wildest Dreams, Taylor's version, and Blank Space. Okay. If you listen to all those,
You'll get the career. You'll get the eras.
Exactly. You'll get the
Okay.
whole thing.
Okay, cool.
Now, if I was going to assign you both albums.
Can I pick mine?
That doesn't feel. Okay,
I'm just
sure.
thinking the one that I'll probably
Like.
enjoy the most would be Folklore.
I think so. I would have assigned you Folklore.
Yeah, that's your kind of bullshit, Rob.
It's so good. It's my favorite album. Don't say that, David.
Did Jack Antonoff do
Yeah.
that one too?
It's my favorite.
Okay.
It's so good. Now for you.
Can you give me maybe like a country one because it's something I
Yeah.
haven't heard of hers and I don't know much about country?
That was so long ago.
Okay. Give me something. You know me. I like
Well, we want to cover the eras, right?
cover the eras.
Well, we can't cover the eras with just 2 albums. Well, that's why you guys
Well, I
have
mean
to.
the eras of Taylor.
Oh, well, I know, but I know David specifically
Like what was
isn't
an
going to
album I
like
actually
early
like? Like, I
eras.
liked 89. Like 1989
Yeah,
felt like
that was
full of like
poppy.
bangers. Is there something like that I'd like?
I mean, maybe you should do Reputation.
Okay. Is that earlier than 89 or that came later?
I think it's right after.
Okay, I'll do Reputation.
Do Reputation.
Okay.
But then if you get really hooked
Mhm.
and you want to go back in time, do Speak Now.
Okay.
And what's our assignment on this? This is
I think we
listen, but then like
Bit of
how
research around
she
the
made
record.
it, what it was about.
Yeah, I think we listen to the record and we come back with some
Come back
intel.
with new thoughts.
I want to surprise Monica with something that she doesn't know
Oh, I would like
to
that.
do with these records. That's what I want to do.
One thing for you to consider as you're listening and doing your research, Taylor is a writer on every single song she has ever put out, which is incredible.
Yeah.
It's
It's
incredible.
Yeah, it is completely.
And she, to me, the music, great. Her voice, great. It's the lyrics.
Yeah, that's, the writing. Well, I think that's what connects, right? She's got this thing, obviously, where she can connect with her fan base in a really personal way. And the
She's a
lyrics are that.
poet.
All her communications are like that. I feel like her records have Polaroids that fall out of them. And
I
you're like, I
know.
know this one. It's smart and it's cool and it's genuine, which
Yeah.
feels good.
Wait, what album are you doing?
Oh, I mean, I'm always
what are we gonna
doing.
do?
Do you want to give me?
We're
I mean,
gonna
I'm
you want
always,
eras?
to do.
I'm always listening to all of them.
You are. Okay, I'm going to think of some activity you have to do.
Okay.
I just haven't thought of
Like
it yet.
a Guar album or something? And
No!
compare and contrast it
You
to.
compare- contrast.
Absolutely not. I will next time also highlight a couple of my favorite lyrics.
Okay. Do
And
some
I
lyrics.
kind of
like
want
this.
you guys to come with some lyrics you liked.
Okay, lyric sharing.
Yeah.
I think that's really nice. Part 2, we're going to share our lyrics. I want to look a bit more into some of her influence in America because I know there's been a lot of talk. We've got an election coming up, and there have been some pieces written that she could sort of be a person that has the level of power to actually sway voters to change an election. That is remarkable to me. I want to sort of learn a bit more about that.
She's
and
been pretty like
talk more.
silent as far as her political.
Normally, except she was outspoken before the last election or before
Yeah, and I think
2 elections
she's
ago.
I guess we'll let
urging
David
people to
talk.
vote. But yeah, I'm
Exactly.
curious. I want to look a bit more. And it's also, I'm interested where she's from in America, what way she might lean. And I'm also curious about the importance of whether you do say, hey, this is who I'm voting for. Because that is a huge statement to make.
It is.
It's going to come with a lot of repercussions.
Especially
and I
in
want to
this
think about
current
that.
fucking world we live in that is so polarized.
Yeah, way to get some death threats is probably to come and be
Exactly.
outspoken about politics, which is just an interesting position that she's in because she will have beliefs. At what point do you put those into the world?
And at what point is her being a unifying force, which she is, more important than her creating more divide? You know what I mean? It's complicated, I think.
Yeah, it is. I just think there's not many individuals that could do a tweet that could sway the outcome of the election. I find that fascinating. So I want to think about
And like
that
the
a bit more for part
responsibility
2.
of that.
I feel like if it was more middle ground between the candidates, then it would be less of a thing.
Yeah.
But it
Well, that's
seems
what she
so
did
dire.
say about
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's a bit murkier this
Yeah.
time round. in so
Knowing
many
you have that
things.
power and don't use it.
I
Knowing
cannot
that the
believe we're here. I cannot believe we're here.
No, it is. I mean, that's why she's a perfect starting point because she's this giant pop figure who also has a lot of influence over who governs this country. So yeah, in part 2, let's come back with some lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to some of that stuff.
Can you guys please watch the doc as well?
Oh, God, just stop. No, I've been to the Eras thing. I went to the movies.
No, not the Eras
I can't
tour.
do a doc
Miss
as well.
Americana, it's so good. If you want to know about her, you have to.
Got to watch Miss Americana?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I would say you should do that
Before the records.
Yeah. Because then you're learning about
God.
her. And there's a lot about her. She's had a lot of struggles with eating and
Okay, deep
there's
dive.
There's a lot. An hour on her is not really enough.
That's not enough. Okay, and I'm looking forward to hearing your favorite lyrics that speak to you, why they speak to you, why
Do you
like
want me
them.
to come back with things I don't like about? Like, I mean,
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
like
no, that's
pushback or
good. No, come
something?
back. You come back with things you think are
but I
legitimate
don't like
criticisms.
really doing that. I
No,
don't
but
want
we
to
all
push her
know.
down.
No, I mean she's going to be okay.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, I
Yeah,
just
I know what you
personally
mean.
don't like
No,
it.
think about if there's anything that you think this is something that I think I reacted badly to. I think
Okay.
if there is anything like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be critical.
Be critical.
Okay.
This is
I
good.
can do it.
All right, part 2 soon. Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. This episode of Flightless Bird is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com offers possibilities across the US for all the travelers you want to be. From cozy vacation homes to fun-filled resorts, with so many choices around the US, you can book whoever you want to be.
It's true. When I'm on vacation,
Mm.
I feel like I can have a different personality.
This makes me want to vacation more because I am a bad vacationer. If I don't go somewhere for work to achieve something, I can't relax. I'm all angsty.
Oh.
So I probably need to actually check this out.
Yeah, you need to go to booking.com and you need to go to a beach with a
I like
nice
beaches.
sun and no work, and you can be luxury, David.
Yeah, I want to be luxury, David. I want to be beachside or poolside because I do like the water. I'm going to do that.
You should do it.
Okay, booking.com. This spring, check out booking.com for your ideal hotel or vacation home, no matter where you go in the US. Book whoever you want to be on booking.com. Booking.yeah. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Rocket Money. Now, do you find any subscriptions you forgot about completely?
I have so many subscriptions that I accidentally forget about. And a lot of this has to do with my impulse control, buying stuff. And I wanted to watch the Academy Awards and I didn't know how to do that. And I still couldn't find it. And I was not understanding. And I kept buying more subscriptions and more subscriptions. And then I realized it was the following weekend.
That's so annoying.
And I still they're all there. Thank goodness for Rocket Money, who's flagging.
I need this because I'm one of those people that I'm sort of cheap and I will subscribe to a subscription service for a week to watch a thing and then I forgot I've got it.
I know. And sometimes you have multiples of the same.
Yeah. The fact is 75% of people have subscriptions they've completely forgotten about, and that's where Rocket Money comes in.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app, and it finds and cancels, which we love, your unwanted subscriptions, monitoring your spending, and it helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
So I can log in there and see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with just a couple of taps.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/bird. That's rocketmoney.com/bird. rocketmoney.com/bird. We're back. This is part 2.
We had a lot of homework to do, Rob and I.
You guys both had a lot of homework to do.
It did feel like homework. I haven't felt like this since school, where you go home on the weekend and you're like, oh my God, I've got all this homework to do.
Yeah, how does it feel to you?
We didn't have a ton of time for it either.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun though. I enjoyed hoovering up Taylor Swift, someone I haven't hoovered a lot of, apart from that 89 album. Overall reflections, Rob? Takeaways from the weekend?
I mean, I like the documentary more than I expected to. I learned a lot about
both
her.
watched
We
the
both
doc?
watched the doc.
That was
We
our
both
first
watched the doc.
assignment, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The documentary was,
Really well made.
it was really well made.
Right?
It was good. Felt like very intimate.
Yeah.
I like that you saw her be vulnerable, which I think is really bold to be like that on camera.
She talks a lot about her journey with her body.
Yeah.
Which I think for all the girls that are so obsessed with her was a really good thing for her to do.
Yeah, and just being reminded of the constant pressure someone like that is under when they're constantly being fed photos of themselves from every angle at random times and what that does to a brain.
Yeah.
And I was also really surprised, and Rob texted me about this actually, how crippled she was with taking validation and that journey from other people and taking it from that to having her own internal sort of happiness. You just don't think of people like that relying on other people because they're amazing and you expect them just to be okay with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about all her kind of falls from grace and how hard it hit each time, which though by the end of it just made me terrified for her today.
But I also think she has more tools now.
I think she does. Yeah.
And it's one of the beautiful things about her. And I do think when people of my age who like her, we're on that same journey where it's like things that used to take us down won't anymore.
I got a fright actually because Joel Little popped up and he's a New Zealand producer and I forgot that he produced a few of her songs. So Jack Antonoff, he was in there. But then just before him, there's this little quiet man, Joel Little, who used to be in sort of a pop punk band in New Zealand.
Is he a friend? Because you know all the New Zealanders?
He's not a friend. We know each other. Okay. Like we're friendly to each other because it's New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he's the loveliest man. But he was in this pop punk band and then he disappeared for like a decade. And he started producing and he produced Lord's first record and made Lord the superstar. And it was just funny when he pops up in this doc because I forget sometimes that Joel is working with all these incredible people.
I had the same thing with Jack because I used to see Jack's band. When I was like 15, he had played in this band Steel Train. And I would see him at the little clubs in Chicago.
How funny.
And then now he's in this doc with
just says
Taylor
he's in
Swift.
this amazing like songwriting brain.
Yeah.
And the other thing I liked about the doc is how you had these moments where she would be realizing a song and then it would hard cut to the final performance of it.
I liked that.
Yeah, that was really cool because you suddenly saw this idea being birthed and then holy shit, here it is executed. I get very suspicious of documentaries that they have the approval of the artist. And there's so many of them at the moment. And of course, they're all approved by the talent.
Yeah.
And that can water stuff down because obviously they're not going to put out some scandalous documentary about themselves. But I thought this was super vulnerable and honest. It was a good doc.
I was impressed with that too. She was willing to tell the story in that way and clearly was a part of it, giving her entire side.
Completely. And she wasn't always flattering. And I thought that was pretty amazing.
And did you get any more insight into what we were touching on about the political landscape and her being obviously this figure that could make big changes?
Her grappling. There was that really great scene where she was with her whole team.
Yes, and her mom and dad.
And her mom and dad.
Yeah, her dad. I was not a fan of him during that scene.
But he was trying to protect her.
I know.
And you have to remember that.
It was amazing to see her and then this table of old white men with like beards.
Oh, I know.
That table was really incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's just the fucking boss. I love that.
Yeah, she comes in and it's just funny seeing she was like, right, this record, it's going to be like 20 tracks or whatever. And all these old men are like, oh yeah, sounds good. It's such a funny dynamic.
It is.
And I guess that, they're obviously the people in the industry, but she was leading that meeting and it was just such a funny table to look at.
God, I can't believe we didn't talk about the most important part of her.
The burrito?
Well, yeah. Actually, I think about that a lot when I eat
27,
burritos.
she had her first burrito.
And I know, it's huge. Her re-recording her music. The fact that we forgot to talk about that in the first half.
Very confusing when you go to find it on Spotify because I didn't realize she'd re-recorded so many of them.
Yeah,
the
she
Taylor
threw
version.
a bunch of them.
Yeah. So that was there was some scuffle with, is that a word?
Yeah,
Scuffle?
well, kerfuffle, yeah.
I went for scuffle.
Kerfuffle
with Scooter Braun.
Exactly.
And she was like, screw you guys, I'm just going to re-record it all and then I own everything.
Scooter Braun and another guy.
Some other dude.
Scott, I think is his name.
Right.
Borchetta?
Yeah, it's Scott, right?
Scott Borchetta.
Scott Borchetta, who she wanted to buy her music back and they weren't letting her. And she's like, fuck this.
Power move.
It's such a power move.
Huge power move. Yeah.
And it's hard to do. Can you imagine having to go back? She could be spending that time working on new albums. And she's like, it's important to me that I own this. And it's such a good lesson for anyone in any creative industry. And especially women who are just like, oh, like everything's run by men. And you're just like, okay, I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Kind of leading the way in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love her.
So, love the doc. I took a few notes on here.
Right.
See if there's anything else.
The cat backpack was cool that
The
she
cat
had on.
backpack.
Do you guys know about the conspiracy theory?
No.
No, I wanted to look up them though. I thought about doing that last night for
Well,
David.
there's a conspiracy theory. Okay, you know that movie Argyle?
Oh,
Mm.
okay. This is all coming into place. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
Either.
yes.
I haven't seen it either, but Matthew Vaughn, right, directed it, I think. The theory is that she
Wrote it.
it and
Wrote the movie.
it's-
under a pseudonym.
Yes. The movie is based on the book Argyle. No one knows who writes her. It was a pen name.
Yeah.
And this
the
cat thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this all falls into place. Because, yeah, when I saw the cat, I was like, oh, I've only seen this ad nauseum on that fucking Argyle trailer, which way shoved down our
Exactly.
throats.
So, yeah, in the documentary, she has the cat backpack
Yep.
with an open hole or
Cat's
whatever.
making a very similar facial expression to the Argyle cat.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so funny.
So people think, and it looks like her cat, Meredith.
Oh, it's good. Meredith.
She doesn't have time to write a movie.
No, she
It's-
does. That's the other thing about her. The fact she's so prolific. She's re-recording all her music. She's doing the Eras tour. She announced a new album.
Constant.
Her capacity
Yep, she's
is
busy.
insane.
She's a busy woman. Busy lady.
But yeah, so she might have written Argyle.
It's good to have, in this day and age, a really pure conspiracy theory.
I agree.
And that's a fun one to have.
I
And I
agree.
fully support
It's
all
not
of it.
harmful at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the rare non-harmful conspiracy theories.
Speaking of pure,
Mm.
this is not about Taylor, but it's
Okay.
an update.
Okay,
because
update time.
Last week we did true crime.
Mhm.
I've since watched Dear Zachary.
Oh, yeah, we had some text exchanges during... You settled in. I was surprised when you texted because it was quite late already. It was
Yeah.
past your bedtime.
It was.
And
but I
you
was ready
had-
for a movie.
What did you think of it? Have you recovered yet?
Not really. It is so devastating. And I was really mad at you that you made me watch that.
I kind of warned you a little
You
bit.
tried, but not with enough.
Are you glad that you watched it? Because it's so devastating, right? That's the one that I watched in the cinema, and the whole cinema was crying a lot of the time. It's so much further on emotionally than other docs.
Yeah.
It hits you.
It does. And again, it's one of those something happens.
Whilst they're making it.
Yeah.
So you think you're watching one thing, and then you're like, oh, God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, devastating. So yeah, take care if you do watch Dear Zachary. It's a lot.
It's upsetting and it's a lot, but I am glad I watched it. I think it's
It's incredibly personal and
Impactful.
yeah, impactful and meaningful. And if it was important to the filmmaker, then I think that's, it's his personal journey important to us.
exactly.
Because yeah, it's such a small personal story. It's not about any
It's not
specific big
Blackfish.
issue.
Yeah.
But it's so harrowing. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. And now I'm scared to watch the others on your list.
I think next will be The Jinx.
But I've seen that.
Oh,
I
you've
love
done The
it.
Jinx?
Yeah.
Okay, next
The
will be
Imposter.
The Imposter.
Okay. I'll do that,
That
one
won't
next.
devastate you as much. Yeah, watch Reputation by Taylor Swift and then Dear Zachary as a double
No, Miss
header.
Americana.
Oh, Miss Americana. Oh,
Yeah.
Reputation's the album.
You watched the wrong documentary.
Oh, no,
my
what was I
God.
watching?
I think there is a Reputation
Oh, it gets
thing on
confusing.
Netflix, but I think it's just her concert.
Right. Because I went to see the Eras film in the cinema, and I would say that Miss Americana was just so much better. I thought the Eras thing was just kind of felt rushed to a cinema.
Yeah.
It was just, bleh. It wasn't shot particularly, it wasn't.
It's a concert movie. Like it's gonna be, I
yeah,
don't know.
but it was just a concert. There were no behind the scenes.
I
There were no
know.
interstitials. It felt a bit rushed. So I would say if you want to watch a good Taylor Swift doc, watch Miss Americana.
Yeah.
Solid.
I was hoping, knowing that there was going to be a Eras doc, I was really hoping that there'd be some behind the scenes, some interviews with her. What was her regimen
Yeah.
to stay
Because the
afloat during
Beyonce doc
that?
came out, I think, about a month after. Because they had more time, there was much more of interstitials. You got to see behind the scenes. You got to see the
Wow.
process, and I really love that. And I wish that Taylor doc just had a bit more. But if you want to go and just relive the concert, then it was a great time. But I just wish there was a little bit more added value.
What do you feel about what America has done about pitting Taylor against Beyonce, pitting them against each other?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, America loves to pit people against each other. And again, Rob was texting me about because it was in the documentary, that Kanye moment where Kanye took the stage and it made both of us really resent Kanye even sort of more than we do.
Yeah.
You know, she's just this kid who's won this award and suddenly...
Well, her just standing up there by herself.
I know.
While everyone was booing.
Yeah. But what I forgot is that Kanye was basically saying, like, Beyonce should have got the awards. So it's always been fueled, this sort of rift between the two of them.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because obviously Beyonce at the moment is going and doing a country record. She's doing her take on that, which is this interesting counter. I mean, I think back to like when I was a teenager, like Blur and Oasis would be against each other. There's always this certain fun in pitting bands against each other, but it's so manufactured and so stupid.
And I will say, I think it's a little different when bands are pitted as opposed to two women solo artists, because it's a part of this bigger problem we have of only one woman is allowed to be on top.
It seems a bit more personal, right? And a bit more pointed in a way.
And I don't think either of them are participating in. Like,
no, I think
don't
they
care.
both seem to be fine with each other.
Yeah.
And like, I think Beyonce turned up to Taylor Swift's documentary.
Yes, and vice
it's all
versa.
fine. And yeah, there's this really novel idea that you're allowed to like two artists at the same time. It doesn't have to be a death match between the two.
Support as many women as you can.
Totally. Okay, so that was a doc. You got me to listen to Reputation.
Yeah.
And Speak Now. Speak Now, I had to turn it off.
It wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me.
Okay.
I tried. It's great to hear her country roots.
And early days.
And I loved hearing how much she has changed and morphed over that time. Reputation, I dug.
You liked it?
I dug it a lot. Yeah, it was good.
Okay, what was your favorite song?
I wrote down Don't Blame Me.
I love that song.
That was the one that stood out to me. I like to absorb an album over months to really let it get under my skin. I haven't had a chance to do that. But that was the track I really, really liked. And apparently the album was a response to 1989 not being that critically well received, which I didn't know about at the time. Because I really liked 89. It was like very synthy, and I really liked that record. Apparently this was kind of like a response to all the media scrutiny about 89.
My knowledge around Reputation is that she went dark for a long time.
She's gone.
Because all of this media scrutiny, and then the stuff with Kanye again. Remember the
that's
song?
Sampled.
Yeah, and
and
he said that Taylor approved it and she didn't, and they cut together her voice saying,
it's him saying that we'll still have sex, whatever, and doing it at gigs constantly.
So that all happened, and then it was like Kim was involved, and then it was like Kim's people were against Taylor. And so she just went fully dark. And then when she came back, she just put a snake up.
Right.
And it was her Reputation era.
I see. I like that record.
Good.
That record was good. What did you listen to, Rob?
Folklore. Which was her, 2020, like, quarantine
COVID
surprise album.
Yeah. More folksy-ish?
Yeah, folksy.
Sort of in your vein, ballpark of what you might like.
Yeah, I mean, a little more poppy and electronic-y than I would normally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it reminded me a lot of the Bon Iver From a Forever Ago album when he wrote that. The shots of her, black and white, in the forest. There was a lot of lore around that Bon Iver album. Him getting sick, going into the woods in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Right.
In a cabin and writing that record and recording it by
So it's got
himself.
this whole story around it.
So I kind of felt that with this album a little bit.
Okay. Did you overall like it or no?
I didn't dislike it. I'm not going to listen to it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing with me. I'm like, will I go back and listen to more of this?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so interesting because it's such a personal thing. My idea of a good time is listening to like a big dumb band like Slipknot. I'm that person.
Right.
And it's what my brain likes, but it's that thing of appreciating other things, but I don't know whether I'll listen to more
that's
or
okay.
not.
Yeah. I appreciate it, but I also seen her journey of everything. I don't think it's also written for David and I. It's such a personal thing for, I think, women listening to her music that it's fine if it's not for us.
Totally. That's true. Did you have a favorite song?
The Exile featuring Bon Iver.
Classic.
Another thing I said I was going to come back with and think a bit more about was her influence on American politics.
I had one more question about Folklore. It said it was produced. So it was produced by Aaron from The National, which I like that, and then Jack Antonoff.
Yep.
But then it says produced by Joe Alwyn.
Oh, Joe is her ex-boyfriend.
What's the deal with
They
that?
wrote, he helped write a couple of the songs. They wrote a couple of the songs together, so he must have
Who's
gotten
that? Who's that man?
They were together for like 5 years.
Was he the
He is her
secret
last
one?
boyfriend before Travis.
See the secret
Okay.
boyfriend she had in the documentary?
Oh, yeah. Who is the boy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was Joe.
Yeah, he was notoriously very private
Okay.
and did not want
Didn't want all the craziness that came with the fame.
exactly, which is kind of interesting
Mm.
because they broke up
Mm.
and now she's in this very public relationship coming
Yeah,
out
so
of a very
public.
private one.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's,
like the most
interesting.
public. I think it would be sort of scary to date someone like Taylor for so many reasons, but I would always be worried about if the breakup came, oh God, the song, there's going to be a song and
Well,
everyone's going to know
I mean,
it's
That,
about me.
I'll poke holes in that
You know?
because
Taylor singing about all my shortcomings,
but
you
that's
know?
most people are singing about people in their lives.
They are, but with Taylor, you know who it is.
We've done this, I think. Like
Yeah, right.
the world, the
Yeah.
Swifties have made it. And part of it's her marketing. It's all part of this business where who is it about? What is it? And we got to
Just
figure
it'd
it
be in the
out.
back of my mind.
Well, it happens with every band, even like Phoebe
That's what I'm
Bridgers,
saying.
Paul
Right.
Mescal, and now Bo Burnham. Everyone knows
They're all
what this
doing-
love
right, they're all
song
singing
is
these
about.
I mean, it's been from the beginning of time. Every song is about basically a love interest. And
Yeah,
the more
right.
famous you are,
I don't run into this in Slipknot. It's not something I'm
Corey
worrying
Taylor,
about.
Corey Taylor's wife.
Screaming.
that would be like domestic
it would be-
abuse. That's bad.
No, you're right, though. It's always been a thing. I
Yeah.
just, in the back of my mind, I just be like, oh man, like, what's the song going to be about?
But
You know?
maybe it would
But
be
I
nice
don't
if
think
you
it's
were
gonna-
nice.
Maybe it would be nice if I was nice, but then we wouldn't be broken up and the song wouldn't be written, I
Well,
suppose.
sometimes people break up just because it's not a good fit.
Because it's not a good fit. I also think it's highly unlikely during my time here I will date
Taylor.
so I'm not saying
We're not
that's
ruling it out,
Yeah.
though.
Appreciate that.
After this episode, she might
She
fall in
might
love with
listen
you.
and really, guy really gets my music. He really gets
He
it.
really gets it. Well, Don't Blame Me is a great pick. So
Yeah, I thought that was the one for me. Her influence in American voting, obviously that was part of that documentary as
Yeah.
well. She got fired up about politics. I found the article on Newsweek. Newsweek did a poll and found that 18% of voters say they'd be more likely or significantly more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by Swift.
really, 18.
18% is pretty high.
I mean, that could definitely make or break.
Totally. But then there's another thing. I read another stat that when she posted on Instagram last year about voter registration, 35,000 people signed up immediately, which is a lot, but also she's got 270 million followers. So not that much. So I'm just wondering how big the call to action is.
My guess is for the most part, her audience is already registered
They're ready to
or
go.
immediately registers as soon as they turn 18.
What,
Yeah.
Was that for just the Tennessee election that you're referencing, or that was for the country?
That was for,
Because in the documentary, it was specific to.
this was for the country.
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
this
that
was like
was
a bigger thing after.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Newsweek's poll found that an endorsement from Swift would have the greatest impact on younger voters. Roughly 3 in 10 Americans under 35 said they'd be more likely to vote for a candidate backed by Swift.
Wow.
So yeah, she's got a big sway. So it'll be interesting to see by the time this episode comes out or after whether she does back someone
Well,
or not.
there's an article in CNN. Belgian University launches course to analyze Taylor Swift lyrics.
Oh, this is for you.
It's called Swifterature. Ghent University in Belgium. I should take this course.
I wonder if you can do it remote.
Yeah,
That'd be the
good
one for you.
Question.
Oh my God, you get the certificate?
Literature
mounted on the
Taylor's
wall.
version.
It's really, I mean, she's got a lot of literature. She's got a lot of songs. The other thing I said I'd look into was, there was an article about Travis Kelce.
Kelsey.
Kelce. And the New York Times wrote the piece, and I just wanted to read a little excerpt. In the only recent year in which Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs weren't playing in the Super Bowl, the NFL star was driving around LA in early February with his business managers, Andre and Aaron Ines, marveling at billboards featuring Dwayne Johnson, the actor and entertainer better known as The Rock. Man, I don't think I'll ever be famous as The Rock, Mr. Kelce said. His co-managers looked at each other and they were like, yes, you can. And that's how the article starts. And it's basically about how these two men, Aaron and Andre, just built up his whole timeline, not factoring in the Taylor Swift factor. And
But just building him a brand.
Just building him a brand.
Yeah. Which everyone's doing.
Totally. Mr. Kelsey's first glint of mainstream publicity came in 2015, featuring Complex magazine, in which he stood on a pool table wearing a burgundy Valver Versace jumpsuit and Gucci sunglasses. A short time later, Aaron Ines got a call from a producer from E! About a reality dating show. I was like, absolutely not, Mr. Ines said. The brothers eventually relented, thinking a TV show might open some doors. After Catching Kelsey, which ran for 8 episodes, never did find Mr. Kelsey's true love. They agreed that reality television was one and done. Instead, Mr. Kelsey, a lifelong comedy fan, gave his co-managers a lofty goal to chase. He wanted to be on SNL.
Oh.
And the article traces how he ended up on SNL.
Oh, hosting.
Not as a cast member.
Oh, yeah, hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, doing the opening monologue.
Okay.
So, yeah, it just bases this piece is really compelling and kind of charts how he got to SNL after saying we're going to do this. And it's all so carefully plotted. And I always think these people just end up there organically, but of course there's a team around them pushing them there.
And a vision. I want that. I want to be on SNL. Okay. What are the steps to get to SNL?
What are we going to do? And obviously you have to have talent there. But
yeah. Well, I mean, the football, he's good at football. Like, there's no getting around that.
Plays good football.
Okay, I found my lyrics.
Okay, your assignment was to share some of your
lyrics
faves.
I like.
Okay, hit us.
Okay. This is from My Tears Ricochet. This is my favorite song.
It's on Folklore, right?
It's on Folklore. Yeah, I know. You didn't like it that
You're
much.
like the kid in school
I
that wants to
recognize-
prove they did the work?
I think that was the one song I recognized out of the whole album. I didn't really know any of the
love
others.
this.
A lot of my favorite songs are off Folklore. That's my favorite album.
What's your one?
Okay. So this is from My Tears Ricochet, and it's about being fucked over, basically, in business.
Mm-hmm.
I feel uncomfortable reading these.
That's okay. It's always, that's the thing. It's always uncomfortable reading lyrics because they shouldn't be read. It's like when people post on Facebook, used to post song lyrics as their Facebook status updates.
Right.
It's just a very funny thing
I
to do.
don't think I can do this.
Can you
Don't
sing
do
it?
it.
We'll sing it. We can auto-tune it.
No,
Put
we
some
know it's
music
out of
underneath
context. Lean into the awkwardness.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, do it. Do it. To counter this, I'm going to read some Slipknot lyrics to you afterwards.
Oh, that's
okay?
a good idea.
And that'll make you.
Are you
they'll
good? Can you
sound worse.
start?
Okay, yes, okay. Here's some Slipknot lyrics. It's going to be worse than what you're going to read. Everyone hates me now, so fuck it. Blood's on my face and my hands. I don't know why. I'm not afraid to cry, but that's none of your business.
Oh.
Whose life is it? Get it, see it, feel it, eat it, spin it around so I can spit in its face.
Oh.
I want to leave without a trace because I don't want to die in this place. They're not going to be more embarrassing than
That's
that.
scary.
It's not scary. It's very silly. All
You're right.
lyric. And when you hear that sung, you're like, oh, so intense.
Oh, right.
Read
but
it
then
out.
when you read
terrible.
it, you're right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Interesting.
It happens.
Okay. So these are not long like that. These are just like couplets.
Okay.
So the first one, My Tears Ricochet.
Mhm.
And I still talk to you when I'm screaming at the sky.
Mm.
And when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullabies.
It's really nice.
Okay. Now this one is from All Too Well. And you call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest.
I like that.
Right?
They're really good. I
She's
like that
she's
they're
a
not.
great writer.
You know,
I
these are
mean,
great lines. I like that they're not rhyming too much.
Yeah.
I've just found a Slipknot song that I think maybe is about a relationship.
Oh my God, let's hear it.
I've never listened to the lyrics because they're being screamed. Who needs another mess? We could just start over. Just look me in the eyes and say I'm wrong. Now there's only emptiness,
Oh.
venomous, insipid. I think we're done, and I'm not the only one. That's maybe about a
That
relationship.
sounds like it.
Do you know any Slipknot lyrics?
No, I never really listened to them.
So you.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a song called Psychosocial, which is I've listened to it so much, but they're kind of screaming, and it's more
Right.
about the
Are they
guitar
screaming
solos.
like venomous? Like
A little
what?
bit like that.
Okay.
My brain doesn't really care about the lyrics too much. It's more like the vibe.
Jess and I have had this conversation before because I'm always trying to play Taylor Swift songs for
Yeah.
him. He does like her, and I brought him to the concert.
Mm.
But he's the same. I mean, he is not Slipknot. He's like Whitney Houston, but he likes sound over
He likes
lyrics.
the melody as opposed to listen. No, that's a really interesting
and I'm
thing.
lyrics over sound.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And you're sound over lyrics.
Yeah, and I think with metal music, you have to be because the lyrics are so silly.
Right.
I think if you take the lyrics to heart, you'll just be like, oh, God, I can't take this seriously at all.
If you can even understand it.
If you can even understand them in the first place.
Are you sound over lyrics?
I'm
if you
somewhere-
have to
I'm-
pick.
I'll
You
say
have
I'm like
to.
Pretty
Nope.
50-50 blend.
You have to pick.
I'm music first,
Okay.
but I think when lyrics are combined with it
Best case.
Yeah.
If a favorite band of yours or a musician started writing terrible lyrics, eventually it would grate you.
Yeah. I mean, Creep's not great lyrically.
That's not, is it? No, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they
But
at
it's
least went
just
the other
such
way.
a song.
They at least went the other
such
way.
a song. Yeah.
Interesting.
I've got a friend that won't listen to a song if there's some bad grammar in it. They'll just be like, I can't take that line seriously, and they're out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like bad grammar, they're out of there. Those lyrics are great.
Those
I think
are a
they're
couple.
really beautiful.
I love the song also on Folklore called Mad Woman.
Mm-hmm.
That my lyric was from that.
Oh, shit. Okay, so did you both write down lyrics you liked?
No, I didn't get that far.
Okay, but
I'm
Rob
sorry.
did.
Mine was just from that. It was, does a scorpion sting when fighting back? They strike to kill, and you know I will.
Oh,
And it was
that's quite sassy.
only just from knowing her story. And
Exactly.
how much power is behind that
That could be a
lyric.
Slipknot lyric.
Yeah. I can see that.
Angst in it. The other thing I came across that I thought was quite interesting, there's this critic in New Zealand, Duncan Grieve, who I really like, and he wrote an article saying, don't understand the appeal of Taylor Swift, let a critic explain it. And he actually made some really good points. Just really quickly, Swift started young, like really young, 11. Debut came out when she was 16. He made the point that her singles are not that important. They go out to the masses, but fans are there for the whole
That's
experience,
true, yeah.
which is unique. That her creative and business strategy is incredibly singular, and he kind of likened it to how Apple operates on this whole different level to like Dell or HP. It's just a whole other place. And he wrote that few artists in history have studied and fed their fans so well.
That's right, yeah.
And that's through, I think, a combination of these really personal lyrics that people take ownership of, and also just how she treats her fans.
And treats, but also studies is the appropriate word. She is on
Right.
the comments. She is not
She knows
responding.
what's going on.
She knows what's going on. She knows what people want, and she'll do that. She plays games with Swifties, and
Oh,
she'll
you see-
drop hints,
right.
and there's clues. It's a whole
Yeah, I
world.
wrote this line down that Duncan wrote. Her albums and their packages are studded with clues, nods, and signals, devoured by fans and able to be endlessly re-examined.
Yeah.
And so that's something
Brilliant.
that she's so smart with,
Yeah.
obviously. So yeah, I mean, look, I came out of this sort of very quick weekend deep dive liking her a lot more than when I went in. I feel
like
like I
that.
appreciate a lot of things about her.
You want to date her now?
I want to
which-
date her. There's this guy Travis Kelsey in the way.
Oh,
some
is
guy.
that why you're doing it?
Yeah,
You're
some
like trying to be
guy.
alpha,
Yeah,
like Kels.
territorial. This guy. They do seem very happy though.
I hope so.
Yeah, they
I
seem
really
good.
hope so.
But yeah, I'd give Taylor Swift 2 thumbs up.
Yay!
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
That makes me feel happy.
Well, thanks for the direction and what to watch and listen to, because it's like a big thing to wade into if you don't know where to begin. So you gave some good pointers.
Thank you. And what are you? Where are you? Are you 2 thumbs up?
I agree. Yeah, I had very neutral opinion going in. I didn't think
Yeah, I was more skeptical. than you.
poorly. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I have a lot of respect for her, and
I did have my
Impressed by
windows
her.
down at one point on a trip to the supermarket, and I was playing that country record very loudly.
Speak now.
I think now, and someone looked at me and sort of openly laughed. In a kind way, but they just didn't
Yes.
expect to see
Mixed
me, this 40-year-old man,
messages.
sort of there, just like bobbing his little head, you know?
Because Speak Now, it's the anthem. It came out when I first moved to LA. It's very mixed in with those core memories
Yeah.
of moving here and reading the CD. What's it
The
called?
art, yeah, the cover art and
cover
everything, the
art.
lyric booklet, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think new music fans miss out on is that tactile thing of having a thing to look at a record or a CD. You know, if
Exactly.
you're listening to something on streaming, you miss that thing.
I know.
I think that's something Taylor's put effort into is when she does release stuff, it's cool and
It
you want to
is.
look through it
It's
and hold
pretty.
it, and it doesn't feel disposable.
Exactly.
I think that's her smarts coming through with how she does things.
The other weekend was Lincoln's birthday. Lincoln Shepherd Dexter
She's a big
Prison's
fan.
daughter. Yeah. She's a
Who is
big
this
fan.
kid? Yeah.
She's a big fan. She turned 11 and it was a Taylor Swift birthday theme. Also,
Oh, amazing.
another pod kid some months ago had a Taylor Swift birthday theme. I saw on Instagram someone I know in Georgia, their kid had a Taylor Swift birthday theme. It's like, it's so incredible. But anyway, everyone's gifts to Lincoln were Taylor Swift merch. And it
Wow.
was all different. Like there was a cute backpack, but there was like kind of like fancy.
So much
There's
stuff.
So you can get anything.
Yeah. Well, do you know what her favorite thing was? Did her eyes light up at a particular thing, or would it just be so overwhelming?
I think it was just everything was great.
Yeah, cool. Do people dress up as Taylor at a Taylor Swift themed party, or is it more just blasting the music?
Well, some people, and I know this for the concert, a lot of people dress as their favorite era, but also the era that they feel that they connect to right now. So a lot of people would dress like that.
I can't wait for her goth era.
Oh, that's what I'm waiting for.
No.
Yeah, the goth. It might
I like that
happen.
one.
It might happen. I'll
Once
be
you
there for
date
that.
her.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, she's really fallen off the rails. It's probably something to do with
You're going to get
David.
assassinated if that happens. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Okay, great. I
Thanks,
love it.
Monica.
Should we go ahead and pick our next god? Should we do it live?
It's a good idea. I mean, the only person that I genuinely want to find out more about is Bruce Springsteen.
American
and I
God.
feel he's so American. That's my thought.
That'd be
Rob,
great.
Do you have anything floating around? You happy with Springsteen?
Yeah.
I
Monica?
think I don't know enough about him,
I
so
don't
I
either.
also will find this very interesting.
Great. I went to a Springsteen concert in New Zealand and he was amazing. I didn't realize how many of his songs that I knew just from being absorbed
Yeah.
from the atmosphere.
Well, okay, so Springsteen's next month.
Yeah, let's do Springsteen will be sometime in the next couple of months.
And then also in the comments, write who you want us to do.
Yeah, who do we dive into? And it doesn't need to be musicians. It can be actors. It can be politicians. It can
Exactly.
be just an American that has done something epic that we don't even know about.
In that case, that would be really fun.
Yeah, there's quite a few people in America.
Ooh, we should do Michael Jordan.
Oh, Jordan.
I'll
Yeah,
do that
Jordan's great. I mean, in New Zealand, me and my brother were obsessed with Michael Jordan growing up.
I'm obsessed with him,
Yeah.
and I don't even care about basketball.
Yeah, your sport.
Again,
just-
that's the criteria for these gods, right? That you don't have to care about their niche or what they're really even doing. They transcend their category.
yeah, completely. And yeah, people that aren't into sport can appreciate them or not into their music can appreciate them.
Should we do Jordan next then? To
I
mix
feel-
up
yeah, it might
instead
be
of
better.
another musician?
Let's do Jordan.
Okay.
Michael Jordan.
Springsteen later down the line.
Yeah,
But
done.
Jordan next. Okay,
All
great.
right, bye.
Bye.